I think if we look at the transformations as was discussed this morning, it's really been a landslide approach, and well, good luck to Treasury, and well done for I think what they've achieved in a fairly short period of time. Remember, we changed what we were used to for a very long time to a completely new transformative environment. And really, at the heart of this was the standardization of the municipal standard chart of accounts, or the mSCOA environment. You cannot really play in the mSCOA environment or claim to understand it without systems or technology. What the mSCOA environment has introduced is the multifaceted approach to our environment. In earlier years, we used to have separate billing systems. The SEM data was outside of the core system. Assets and payroll were disconnected from the environment. We had lots of silos within the space. With the advent of mSCOA, it forced compliance with regards to a singular data model with one classification structure. Now, from a systems vendor perspective, it has been traumatic because all of us in the space had to really reinvent the way that we were committing our software. 2016 saw the introduction of the first RT agreement, but the prelude to that agreement was really a long process of getting suppliers to understand exactly what was envisaged with the new chart of accounts. And the objective from the beginning was to move to the single version of the truth. And that's really where we're at today. Now, there's the issue with regards to compliance of systems. And I'm nearly 100% convinced that we don't have uncompliant systems in local government with regards to the ERP environment. I think most systems are compliant, and I think we've just concluded a series, nearly 18 months, 2 years of intense workshop sessions with National Treasury on the new ICF environment, which is going to induce better controls, more transparency, but it's going to also force systems providers to again relook at the core of how we are doing things. So I think if you're in a municipality and you use a financial system, it should present a form of mSCOA compliance. Yes, there might be certain instances where you feel it's lacking, and there might be certain instances where it's excelling. I think it's more a situation of familiarity. So if I know how to use Word, for instance, to type a letter, it's very difficult to now tomorrow start using WordPerfect. It's a word processor. It's the same product. It's just that the rules are different and the way that you interact with the product is different. So, but compliance is critical because there's nowhere to hide anymore. KG this morning mentioned the GUID and the strings. Now, those things happen and execute automatically out of the system. So if the system is not computing the way it should across all the segments, through all the dimensions, then the strings will be wrong. And as a systems vendor, we have this measuring dashboard from Treasury. Most municipalities will understand what I'm saying. And if the strings are green, everything's good. If the strings are not green, there's chaos and mayhem. Okay? I don't know if it's a sense of humor, but Treasury always keeps us on our toes, because when you think that you've got everything under control, and yes, we are now cooking, they change the charts version. Yeah, some instances we then have to sort of go back to where we were earlier and reinvent ourselves. But one of the other important things is that I think that we have to be mindful of is that, especially from a customer perspective in a municipality, is that loose standing systems are becoming more difficult to present in an integrated environment. Now, if you speak to your ERP systems or your financial systems provider, you'll understand what I'm saying, because the way that asset management has been incorporated into the new reporting structure virtually makes it impossible to run that in a spreadsheet. You absolutely have to have it in a structured system. If you don't have that, your reporting again will suffer. So there's a huge change in the way that we approach, just for instance, asset management. Payroll systems used to be able to function and live outside of the ERP system or the financial system, but that's also becoming near impossible. It's really becoming very difficult, again, because of the integration and the reporting of data. Sure, web services and APIs provide us with a stopgap, but it cannot be a longer term solution. Our issue is with the management of integrated data. I just quickly want to end off with the governance and control, and I think what's important is to recognize the oversight of National Treasury and also the Auditor General. And with the technology that we're discussing and the benefits is the provisioning of full audit trails, who, what, when, why, automated approvals of workflows, role-based access controls, and the segregation of duties. I imagine you're coming up, Zolani, to say that it's enough now. No. Okay, good. So just to finish off, then is if we look at the let's call it manual environment of the past. So miscalculation, duplication errors, incomplete records, those were typically the things that we struggled with. And with the incorporation of the mSCOA methodologies and the processes in our new approach of managing this environment, we have validation at source. So you cannot enter a wrong transaction into the system because it has to report across all the segments. So you start it right or you don't start it at all. There are mandatory fields and structured inputs that are regulated. So there are certain things that everybody has to do, and it's no longer optional. Now, if you roll this up, again, just getting to the oversight of Treasury and the Auditor General, it just makes it easier. We saw the charts that was displayed earlier, and you can sort of have a bird's eye view on the country of progress made. Now we've got, I think it was 2003, 2014, 2023 areas, but the reality is that as soon as those strings are submitted, the data is available. So as soon as your strings are green, the way that they should be, your data is available and can be used nationally. That in itself is a huge improvement, because for Treasury, for any government department to have gotten information out of local government in the past was a huge exercise. I'm old enough or young enough to remember that you had an instruction issued by Treasury or by your provincial Treasury or by your provincial department or by your district municipality. Send us a fax, answer these questions. The faxes has to be here by 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock, the faxes arrive. Tomorrow morning, somebody sits, goes through all the information. That information gets to where it needs to be, maybe a week or 2 weeks later, or never. When we do this mSCOA thing properly, we'll be able to actually report in a near real-time environment. And if that is the objective, or if it's a benefit, that would probably be the best benefit. This project-based budgeting, the alignment of fundings, the multi-year planning, those types of things are also salient benefits, but they cannot happen outside of a structured system. You can try and do it in Excel. It's just too cumbersome. This morning early on the first presentation that KG did, the A schedules, if you just go and look at the detailed information in the A schedules, and the facets that it reports to actually create, and I'm not just talking about one specific report, look at all the reports in those A schedules. It is virtually impossible for a single person or multiple persons to get that information right the first time without a proper system. And that's why we have standardized. We've had a lot of financial system providers in the past, and in the last 10 years, that's shaken out. I mean, we've got a handful left. which is good and bad, but still, it's just that I think the guys that are still around, as I said earlier, it's really not a situation of a non-compliant system. It's probably just, everybody will get there sort of more or less the same time. And to ensure data integrity and reliance on the data and the single truth of the information, from a National Treasury perspective, they have regular audits and they really keep the service providers on their toes to ensure that the interaction is transparent and that the data is solid and clear.
For more information, please feel free to contact us on 0860 104 888, alternatively admin@be.co.za, or on any of our socials. We'd love to interact with you.